Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Eau de Treasure. You just saw my video about my DUA fragrance haul. I just got those in. And now I'm going to do a video about DUA Fierce. This is a fragrance company that makes clones or inspired fragrances. And Fierce is a popular one because people are always looking out for the vintage Fierce. The Fierce that you get today at Abercrombie & Fitch, it's not the same. If you guys didn't know, the smell, the scent is still similar, but it doesn't have the same ingredients. It doesn't have the projection or the performance anywhere near what made it famous in the mid-2000s, about 20 years ago. You couldn't walk through a mall 20 years ago and not smell this coming out of the Abercrombie & Fitch store. They used to spray the mannequins with the Abercrombie & Fitch clothes. They used to spray it with a big bottle of Fierce. It was called Fierce Room Spray, and the whole store smelled like it, and it smelled so good, and everybody loved it. But since 2010, it's been neutered so much that it's just not the same. But recently on the channel, I made some videos about these beauties that I found. This is a half-full 30 ml original Fierce. This one's really interesting. Never saw this before until I got it. A 14 ml original Fierce. This is the first year. If you want to know more about what original Fierce looked like, the bottles, the boxes, check my channel because I found a lot of this stuff here where I live in Japan. I've covered it a lot, and those videos get a lot of clicks. People like to look for Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. And that brings me to the topic of this one right here. Why did I get this? Because one of the subscribers to my channel, Eau de Treasure, lives in the same city that I live in Japan and asked me if I can get one of these original Fierce bottles for him. And it was tough. Every time I saw one pop up online, it was either way too expensive and not worth it because it's a risk to buy one of these. It might not smell the same. It might be off a little bit. So I thought about DUA. I looked at the DUA brand website and was very happy to see that not only was this in stock, but they shipped to Japan. So I talked to the guy and he said that he'll take this one, and I bought some other ones. And here we go with a hand-to-hand test. Original Fierce versus DUA Fierce. Now of these two bottles, this one to me smells perfect. This one's just a tiny bit off. And I'm going to give myself two nice blasts. All right, and right away, I'm going to give myself two blasts of the DUA Fierce on this hand, my right hand. It sprays out beautifully, like a pressurized sprayer, like something you would see from Jimmy Choo Man or Dior Sauvage. All right, I am smelling them now, as you can see the oil sheen on my hands. All right, right off the bat, we're talking the first 30, 40 seconds. There's a difference between these two. This one has slight metallic scent to it, the original Fierce. The original Fierce, this is the control in this experiment. This is the standard that I'm used to. This one is a little bit different. Maybe it's a little bit woodier than this one off the bat. All right, after a few minutes, it still feels the same. We have the original Fierce, which, as you guys know, is a musky, woody fragrance with great performance, a tiny bit of sweetness, and just something very alluring or attractive to it. And this one, is it close? It's close, but I don't think it's any closer than, say, Mont Blanc Legend, for example. This one's a little bit on the woody side, but I would say it's similar. This is like maybe just, right now, it just feels like it's 85% similar. Now I'm going to give this about an hour. I'm going to come back in an hour and I'm going to update and just tell you how I feel about these scents an hour in. All right, coming back to the video, it's been about an hour since I've been wearing both of these fragrances on each hand. And I'm just going to be completely honest. I'm not going to try to impress anybody watching this. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about this to my nose. It's not really as close as I was hoping to the original Fierce. Of all the different Fierce-inspired fragrances I've smelled, and I'd say offhand maybe 6 or 7 different kinds, nothing beats this. Nothing beats the original silver cap Fierce. The ones with this cap, the first 3 editions of this cap, the one with a twist-off cap, the silver chrome cap with the bodybuilder design on it, that bodybuilder sticker on it. those smell the best to me. And I just can't really, I thought about how to describe this scent or how I feel this is. It's fresh, it's clean, a slight sweetness to it. It's woody, it's musky, it's modern. It works in, to me, all situations. I mean, if you want to wear it to work, it would just take one spray. You definitely don't want to overspray these original. These ones project and perform so well. Of course, you can wear it at night. The risk with wearing Fierce at night these days when you go out, are people going to smell it and they're going to say, oh, the shopping mall has entered the building. They'll just remember the Abercrombie Fitch Fierce store. That's not a terrible thing. It just depends on the generation of the people you're hanging out with. It's almost like Chanel Egoist Platinum. You know what has that metallic note? This has something like that. That's the only way I can explain what this is like with that metallic scent to it. And I mean that in a good way. This one, it just doesn't seem to have it. And offhand, I would just say that this, on first impression, I would just say that this is like 80% similar. The juice is clear in this bottle. Now, there are some variables that you have to know about. Number one, this is a brand new fragrance. And when you order these DUA fragrances, what I've heard is they custom make them. They make it for you. So they make it right away. They fill up this bottle and then they ship it to you within days. So this needs time to macerate. And I've sprayed it once. This will be sprayed a couple times. And it'll be put away in the dark and not touched for a couple weeks. Maybe the juice will turn a light yellow, and maybe this will develop and smell more like this one. But right now, I just have to say, off the first initial sprays, it's just like 80% there. Now, let's talk about the other fragrances I've smelled that remind me of Fierce. You have the Parfums de Marly Percival. I've smelled that at the store, and I think it's similar, but just not quite there. I haven't had extensive testing with that one. Let's talk about Mont Blanc Legend. I mean, that one, I have to be honest, that one, surprisingly, Mont Blanc Legend smells the most like this. I mean, the performance is not that strong, but it's pretty cheap. I think it's $30 or $35 for a 100 ml bottle. I would say for a cheapie, get that one and just spray the shit out of it, and you'll smell like this like 85 to 90%. There is the Mont Blanc Legend Eau de Parfum, the EDP. I was very close to getting that like 2 weeks ago. I bought it, and then the seller canceled the listing. They said that they dropped it and broke the bottle. That's how close I was to having it in this video to compare it. I don't have that. I did smell it at the store. It was close. To me, it just wasn't that much different than the original Mont Blanc Legend, except the performance is probably a little bit better. I forgot, I do have another smell-alike that is here in my collection. This is Mercedes-Benz Man Intense, and this one has a Abercrombie Fitch Fierce vibe to it. And I'm going to spray it on my arm right here. I've tried this one before. The performance is pretty good on this one. Let's see how it compares to these. All right, this one is nice too. I remember wearing this and I had people tell me that they can smell me from across the hall. So this thing has good performance. This one smells similar to Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce. As far as longevity, I think it's all right. I guess it's at least 4 to 6 hours if I remember it. I haven't worn this actually in over a year. But when I did wear this a couple years ago, I was getting good feedback from it. Yeah, if you could find this one cheap, I don't see anything wrong with getting this one Mercedes-Benz Man Intense. But to get back to this one, I'm just not feeling that this is really the best clone that I've ever smelled of original Fierce. It right now just reminds me of a modern bottle of Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce. I'm not going to have this for 2 weeks. I can't test this later, unfortunately, because I'm going to give this to my friend. I'm going to ask him if there's any difference from when he tries it after he first gets it, and then 2 or 3 weeks later after it macerates, if he notices any difference. And if so, I'll put a little bit extra in this video if I notice anything different from this one down the line. I just want to put a final note in this video. People really love this Fierce from DUA, and I just think that when they smell this, they're just remembering what this used to smell like, because nothing really beats the old silver cap fierce. This really is the best one. And I think in the USA or Europe, in the Western world, this is all used up. People used to have the silver cap. They've all worn the shit out of it. It's all gone. It's just empty bottles at this point. So this just reminds people of what this used to smell like. They forgot how good this was. So people are happy and think this one is great. If you compare it hand to hand, it just doesn't compare. But on its own, it's fine. Is it worth the price? I think yes, if you get it for $30 or less, then yes, it's worth it. I do think that the Mont Blanc Legend or the Eau de Parfum or the Mercedes-Benz Man Intense, I do think that those are kind of on par with this one. Maybe this one lasts a little bit longer, but I don't think that there's a huge difference between them. On a scale of 1 to 10, with comparing it to the original Silver Cap Fierce, if 10 is perfect, I would say this is I would give this like a 7.5 to an 8. What'd you think of the video, guys? Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. I hope you did. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I usually cover discontinued, vintage, rare, and interesting fragrances on this channel. You can click the video tab on my channel and go back and see all the other videos that I have. Maybe there's one that interests you. And let me know below in the comments, what do you think about original Fierce? What do you think about modern Fierce? What do you think about this one? Any of the Fierce inspired fragrances out there? And especially, what's your experience with DUA Fierce? There's other flankers on the DUA brand website for Fierce. There's a Fierce Attar is one of them. There's a couple other ones, and I don't know how they're different. Maybe that one is more woody or muskier than the other one. I heard that this one sells out often, so this one is very popular. Maybe just this particular bottle, or maybe they used to be more beast mode back in the day, like 2, 3, 4 years ago when they were new, and maybe now they're not that great. I don't know. I'm hoping it's much better after it macerates. Hey guys, I just want to share some final notes with you. I contacted my friend whom I gave this bottle of DUA Fierce to. I asked him if there have been any changes, and he said that the color of the juice inside the bottle hasn't changed. It's still clear, and it still pretty much smells the same as it was a few months ago when I gave it to him. At that time when I met him, I sprayed some original Fierce so he can smell it. And in that time, he's tried a couple other Fierce-like fragrances, like I mentioned. He tried Parfums de Marly, Percival. He tried Mont Blanc Legend, for example. He still thinks that bottle of DUA Fierce smells the closest to the original Fierce. And he also thought that the Percival is a different fragrance. It's kind of like Fierce, but it's not really close to the original one. But he likes the bottle of DUA Fierce. He says on its own, it's great, and he's very happy with it, and that's the most important thing. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video coming up in a few days. And until then, take care.